human condition that can be witnessed in every civilization and at every period of history. Moreover, it is heir to a philosophical legacy at least as old as the Greeks. Aristotle, in the Politics, defended constitutional government in terms that are as influential among conservative thinkers today as they were in the ancient world. Indeed, most of the ideas purveyed by modern conservatives are foreshadowed in Aristotle's great work. But they have been adapted to a situation that Aristotle himself could not have foreseen, which is the emergence of the nation-state, the loss of a unifying religion, and the growth of the great society, composed of millions of cooperating strangers under a single rule of law. It is a repeated error among intellectual historians to assume that ideas have a self-contained history of their own, and that one idea gives rise to another, in something like the way one weather system gives rise to the next. Marxists, who regard ideas as byproducts of economic forces, commit the opposite error, dismissing the intellectual life as entirely subservient to material causes. The vast and destructive influence of Marxist theory is a clear disproof of what it says. As the American conservative Richard Weaver put it, in the title of a famous and influential book, Ideas Have Consequences, 1948. And this is as true of conservative ideas as it is of ideas propagated on the left. To understand the prehistory of conservatism, therefore, one should accept that ideas have a far-reaching influence over human affairs. But one should recognize also that they do not arise only from other ideas, and often have roots in biological, social, and political conditions that lie deeper than rational argument. We human beings live naturally in communities, bound together by mutual trust. We have a need for a shared home, a place of safety where our claim to occupancy is undisputed, and where we can call on others to assist us in times of threat. We need peace with our neighbours and the procedures for securing it. And we need the love and protection afforded by family life. To revise the human condition in any of those respects is to violate imperatives rooted in biology and in the needs of social reproduction. But to conduct political argument as though these factors are too far from the realm of ideas to deserve a mention is to ignore all the limits that must be borne in mind if our political philosophy is to be remotely believable. It is precisely the character of modern utopias to ignore these limits, to imagine societies without law, Marx and Engels, without families, Lang, without borders or defences, Sartre. And much conservative ink has been wasted, by me among others, in rebutting such views, which can be believed only by people who are unable to perceive realities, and who therefore will never be persuaded by argument. Let us begin, therefore, by listing some of the features of the human condition that define the limits of political thinking, and that most conservatives will claim are given due prominence in their philosophy. First among these features is social membership. Human beings live in communities, and depend on communities for their safety and happiness. In a tribal society, people relate to each other through kinship, which may be partly mythical. In a religious society, membership is determined by ritual and faith. In a political society, relations are governed by law, and in the modern secular state, law is made by the citizens, usually through their elected representatives, and imposed by a sovereign authority. All three forms of society, tribal, religious, and political, can be witnessed in the world today, though it was the emergence of political order that was the original inspiration for modern conservatism. On one reading of events, indeed, conservatism arose as an attempt to hold on to the values of kinship and religion in communities that were being reorganized by a purely political law. Social membership goes hand in hand with individual attachment. Human beings begin life in a state of attachment to the mother and to the household that shields and nurtures her. As they grow to adulthood, the bond of attachment loosens and widens. The young adult needs the mother and the family less, but friends and cooperation more. In the course of a lifetime, customs, places, networks, institutions, shared ways of being